Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our March 2021 customer webinar. I'm Aaron Gillette, Marketing Director at TownNews. Today, we're opening the floor to our solutions team to show off some of the most exciting upcoming products, features, and initiatives that you can look forward to in the near future. Here to share their near-term roadmaps are Christine Masters, Senior Director of Core Platforms, Bridget Sibthorpe-Moker, Director of Audience, Michael Warringer, Senior Product Manager, Susan Bell, Senior Product Manager for Mobile Apps and OTT, Joe Hansen, Senior Product Manager. It's a pretty full house, but who knows, we may even have a special guest or two along the way. If you have any questions, please feel free to enter them in the Q&A box. Here's Christine to get us started.
Hello, thank you so much. We're so excited to share with you our strategic roadmap for the second quarter of this year, which, like Aaron said, is essentially a near-term roadmap, which takes us through the end of June, give or take. But before we dive into the roadmap, the special guest for this morning is going to be a new member of our leadership team, John Jordan, who is the head of partner success at TownNews. I would like to pass it to John just for a second to give you an update on how TownNews is reorganizing our department structure and growing our staff, which is really exciting in order to help meet the business needs of our partners. John?
Good morning, everybody. One of the things, and as Christine and team go through the roadmap updates that we're going to be talking about, it's all built around being able to serve your business needs. And to help make that happen, one of the things that we're doing inside of TownNews is to restructure the team slightly to add some partner success resources that will spend time with many of our partners, or all of our partners really, to understand what your goals are. Because in the end, our technology and services might be cool and might help you put up quality news and engage your audience, but we also want to make sure that you understand what that engagement means and how you're able to monetize it and build on that. And these resources will be there to help you find those business needs with a partner success team. In addition to that, our client services team is also making some adjustments so that they are looking deeper into your business needs. So altogether, the goal here is to make sure that we are serving your needs. And part of that is on the technology side, which Christine and team will be talking about, but increasingly we want to be able to engage you to talk about those business needs. So with that, Christine, I'll hand it back to you.
That's great. We are so excited about this. And a lot of the roadmap that you're going to see today is really a result of John and his team and our sales team and our product team discussing all of these business needs with our partners, and we are listening to you. So that's an important thing to note. So let's go ahead and get started. First off, as in previous years, we are essentially dividing our strategic initiatives into 4 key pillars: our revenue opportunities, audience engagement, efficiency tools to make things easier for you and your staff, and security and performance improvements. So to get started, we're going to talk about revenue opportunities. Bridget, do you want to tell us a little bit about what you're working on with reader revenue?
Absolutely. I'm so excited to share with you guys. We have some really exciting improvements in subscription, user experience, and purchase. The focus is on more reader revenue and more conversions for you. So the first part of that is we need to make it easier to become a member or subscribe, right? Fewer steps, fewer clicks. So with our new one-page purchase workflow, readers can subscribe or become a member to digital quickly and easily and pay without leaving the article they're reading. So it's a really streamlined, mobile-friendly design. We're implementing things like autofill, autofocus, because it's not just about the number of clicks or the number of pages, it's about reducing overall effort for the user. And that means more subscriptions or memberships for you. So also the BLOX account is created at the same time as the subscription's created, so the user isn't blocked from getting to that purchase page. So really exciting developments there. So that's number one, but number two is how do we get them there? We need a better way to showcase the value of subscriptions and memberships and to implement best practices. So we've built this brand new panel inside of BLOX, part of the Audience Plus Access Control smart meter technology. It's called Offer Builder. Offer Builder powers the new look and feel of the paywall that you see on the left-hand side of the slide here. This is really important because it allows you to plug in your subscription rate, terms, savings, billing cycle, all of these details that you want to display attractively, but you don't have to code to do it. You don't have to, edit the description in HTML and that kind of thing. So it's really exciting. It's a marketing tool that really powers your paywall. All of these fields are fully customizable, so you're in control of the positioning and pricing. It links dynamically to this new TownNews one-page purchase workflow, or if you use a different circulation system, you can link off to that site for payment if that's your setup. You can also do custom scripts. So we have a companion block too that's going to be powered by Offer Builder to offer some continuity between the paywall and your subscribe landing page. So we're really excited about these pieces. Most of these updates do require the upgrade to Audience Plus, our smart meter technology, but we are offering free CSS paywall refreshes and site audits to any Subscription Pro customer. On the right-hand side of the screen here, you'll see Maryville Forum. CSS upgrade means the red buttons and helping to implement best practices for the offer. Early results are showing a 16% increase in conversions, and that's all we did was change up the paywall. Back to you, Christine.
Thank you. That is super exciting. So just to kind of reiterate that, so the new stuff you see on the left is part of Audience Plus. So if you're interested in finding out more about that, which is kind of an add-on to our subscription platform, and more than that, kind of the smart meter technology, contact sales. And then if you're interested in the CSS refresh, they contact customer support.
Exactly. Yep.
Awesome. That is super cool. We are very excited about that. So next, we're going to talk about our Field 59 live streaming product and new monetization opportunities that we're working on there. Michael?
Yep, thank you, Christine. So we are working on server-side ad insertion for broadcasters. So what that means is if you're a TV station and you're live streaming your newscast and your video signal contains the right data coming from your encoder that can tell us, hey, we're in a commercial break. What we can do is replace your over-the-air commercials with digitally inserted ads, mid-rolls that are in the stream itself, so not subject to ad blockers. It's server side rather than client side. This opens up a lot of new digital inventory versus just having a pre-roll in front of the live stream. So right now we have a beta running that is inserting local campaigns trafficked through the TownNews IQ ad server. We are currently exploring ways to add steady programmatic video ads into the mix. We're doing some testing right there. We know that's an important piece, being able to have that programmatic video backfill offering in addition to local campaigns. So this product will stay in beta until we achieve that. But we're very excited about this for the new revenue opportunities this is going to bring.
So Michael, you talked a little bit about how this was geared primarily towards broadcasters because they have the SCSI marker technology in the broadcast feed. What about other publishers that might be doing a live stream?
Yeah, that's a great question and a great point, Christine. So right now, this does depend on having that specific SCTE, SCSI marker data, or at least an in-out GPIO data embedded in a broadcast source video feed. So it is right now a broadcast TV specific offering. That said, looking ahead, kind of as we continue to develop this functionality and these features, this is beyond Q2, but into later in 21 into 2022, we want to be able to figure out how to offer any publisher the ability to do this kind of direct insertion into a stream, even if you're not a broadcaster. So that's the goal, and so there'll be much more to come on this, in the future.
Awesome. Okay, great. Mm-hmm. So next, we will have Susan talk about our subscription purchase opportunities with our new Now app product.
Thanks, Christine. So we've spent the first part of 2021 making some improvements to workflows for subscriptions and paywalls for a couple of reasons. Our short-term updates, and I just wanted to briefly touch on this before we talked about in-app purchasing. was compliance for a couple of things. Our e-edition, for example, was being forced to a browser, and we've corrected that in a version that we have coming out in a couple of weeks. So it will no longer be forced in a browser, which allows us to open that in a WebKit. So we can control skipping subscription pages and actually getting that workflow into the paywall workflow. So just like with your paywall, when that's turned on your site and it's turned on in the app, it will honor that paywall by offering the end user a login screen. And if they do have a web subscription, then they have access to the content. And that's if you have the paywall on. If you don't have the paywall on, it just bypasses that subscription page and it offers that e-edition for our customers for no charge. One exciting addition that I've been working with Bridget on is we now actually have access control awareness in our paywall workflow. So access control, if you don't know what that is our smart metering technology and smart targeting technology. So that will be available in our next version as well. But really the objective here is to build a foundation that's compliant as we move toward the future with development for in-app purchase and advanced metering options with access control. So we are going to be excited to offer in-app purchase in the next couple of months here. And how that will work, just to give you a couple of bullet points on there, is it still will honor a web subscription and it will work with access control. If you don't have a web subscription, then we're going to be able to offer hard offers within the Apple Store and in Google Play. So billing is all handled in the store at that point. And really the biggest benefit with this, because it is compliant with Apple policies, particularly, Google is coming up behind them with the same kind of compliances. But billing is handled in the store. And we will be able to promote subscriptions in the app where we have not been able to do that in the past. So this will be hopefully a revenue generator in a different way than we've had to build revenue before. So it'll be completely separate from your web subscriptions at that point as we dive into being able to get revenue for you through Apple and Google.
That is great. Thank you, Susan. Now we're going to talk a little bit about our new functionality that will help engage your audience. First, Michael is going to talk a little bit about a new design presentation for articles that have, if there's a situation where there's multiple videos and multiple photos, how does that look? And we've been doing a lot of work on that. So Michael, you want to talk about the multimedia player?
Sure. Just real quick, Elizabeth, I will answer your question after I talk here. I just fat-fingered the chat and I apologize. So the new multimedia player, yes. So we've gotten a lot of feedback about how the BLOX article page handles different multimedia elements on a page in terms of video placement, image placement, how the display works or more often doesn't work on different displays on desktop and mobile. So we're pleased to be showing you an early look here at a new multimedia player that will gather together all your different types of media on a given article, videos, photos, even audio content, and display in a single cohesive player at the top of the article. So what you see here is an in progress version. We're still going to make some design tweaks here to the presentation, but you get the idea. You see a video at the top, and then in the thumbnail underneath the thumbnail strip, you've got an image there in the second position, and then another video, and then so on. The player will be able to auto advance between content. It will have monetization opportunities, so you can get a pre-roll before your videos. There will be a display ad position. There may be some more things with interstitials. So that's something we're very excited about finishing up work here on in Q2.
That is awesome. And I do think, and again, to point out, like you can see here that this is an image that is part of the multimedia slideshow. So I think that's going to be it looks great on mobile also, which is awesome. So Michael, how will this be rolled out to customers?
Right. So as I said, we're looking to complete this development by the end of Q2. It will not be a global rollout. We'll begin turning it on for interested customers, group by group, site by site. We want to make sure there's no issues with anything custom on any existing site that may have been done in the past to create custom presentations. So there's going to be a setting that will kind of activate this initially on a site by site basis. So once, look for the release notes. Once we kind of announce this, then we can kind of get the settings in place on your site and turn it on.
Michael, another question came in. Will the multimedia player work on the app as well? And does it work with Field 59 and YouTube videos?
Sure, I'll take the second part of that first. Yes, any video asset in BLOX will be able to display in here. So whether it's a BLOX native video asset, a Field 59 asset, a YouTube asset, other remote assets that we support, Vimeo, TownNews, those should all flow into here. And yes, this will work on mobile presentation pages. So it's designed to accommodate a mobile page as well.
Yeah, on article pages. Yep. Awesome. So the next one is a new asset type that we're looking at in our editorial. This is essentially a new feature that we're looking at, which will help address a common issue with news stories that we've heard in terms of talking to end users and in other kind of industry interviews and things like that. The fact is that it's very difficult for readers to follow the flow of a developing story from day to day or from week to week. I'll use the example of, there's a plot of land next to my house and they're talking about building a new grocery store there, which obviously I might be very interested in. I might see an article or a news broadcast that the city council approved that specific project. Again, it's right near my house, but I want to keep up to date on development. And they're not going to be an article about that every single day. It might be every couple of months or every couple of weeks. So it's very difficult I have to kind of search out that information on a day-to-day, week-to-week basis as an end user. So what we're kind of looking at is trying to tie those things together and allow users to follow a specific story from week to week and month to month, such as, again, when that particular plot of land was approved for zoning, when they started development, maybe there was a setback and things were delayed. Maybe it's going to open next month finally, and there's a grand opening. All of those things are related to that one specific story thread. And note that this isn't about a topic like new development in general. This is a very specific news story, a news story thread about a specific plot of land and a specific theme for that story. So we're introducing this new idea called story timelines, which will actually be a new asset type that will allow you to create a dynamic collection, which can grow over time simply by adding a specific, easy to use hashtag on all of the content related to that specific story. So once tagged, the dynamic collection creates a story timeline, which can be viewed on the front end by end users. So that will be really exciting. The really cool thing though, and you can kind of see in some of our mock-ups here, that readers are able to follow the stories that they're interested in and get email updates when new content is available on that specific topic. Again, it's not a subject, it's a specific story thread about the thing that you're interested in. They'll never need to miss news updates again, even if they're months or weeks apart. So we actually did a test of this as part of a Reynolds Journalism Institute innovation project that was put together by a group of students and athensnews.com. And you can actually see our test proof of concept of this right now on their front page. So check that out. I would definitely like to thank them for all of the work that they put into this and how they helped us with this idea. So thanks very much for that. So go check it out. And again, this is coming in a couple of months. So another thing to talk about is some updates that we're making to our very popular article designer. This is a series of tools in the editorial project that allow you to kind of design and create compelling story presentations within your content. This quarter, we're looking at adding new functionality for having kind of new presentations for inline presentations. So how you show an image or how you have a video, ways to do more graphical presentations maybe without a headline or without a caption, so you can kind of toggle between those things. In addition, we're looking at adding capabilities to do different widths of content, so you can create more of like a mugshot image or maybe a bigger image. So right now we allow you to do a half a page and a full page size image or video. we're going to add the ability to do 25% and 75%. So again, you can kind of play with that on the desktop viewport. Next, I'm going to talk just a little bit about something that we're working on with a couple of different organizations. We're working with the Trust Project, which if you're not familiar with them, definitely Google them. And they're doing some really great work on how to help newspapers provide end users with information that helps them trust that specific news organization and understand that this is a real journalistic institution, and that you're doing fact checking, and you have all these different types of indicators that show that you're a trustworthy organization. In addition to the Trust Project, also schema.org, which works with the Trust Project and Google and other organizations to help define basically news content on the web. So we're actually going to be implementing a new story subtype schema on our article assets that helps you define what type of work this particular article is. So there might be local reportage, satire, analysis, opinion. There's about 20 different kinds that are going to be available. And this story subtype is then used within the metadata of the page itself. And then Google and other bots, when they scan the page, they can pick up on that metadata, and it helps there with SEO. And in the future, not necessarily right now, but in the future, it is an indication to ad buyers and like programmatic ad buyers that this is legitimate news content, not user-generated content. So in the future, we anticipate that it will help with CPMs from programmatic revenue as well. So this is really the first phase of this project, adding the article type of work, but we have additional functionality later that we're going to be adding as well. So more information, more schema, and then we're also working on being able to an easy way to implement that schema as well. So super excited about that. I'm trying not to say excited too many times. So that's if you want to have a count of how many times that we say it on the webinar, but we're all very excited. Next, we're going to have Bridget talk about some changes, some things that are going on in the industry with first-party data, and then how we're looking at improvements to our login system to help with that.
Thank you, Christine. So in a world of privacy concerns and GDPR, everyone's looking to reduce dependence on cookies and third-party data. That means first-party data, the data you collect from your readers and users, is even more important. Whether you're in broadcast, a newspaper, digital first, growing engagement on your site and growing known users is vital to your future. And collecting that data from your readers begins with account registration and login. Getting that email address is essentially getting a lead for you. So similar to the new purchase process, we are working on reducing friction on these user interfaces too. So how do we make it easier for people to log in? Reducing the text, reducing extra fields. We've put it in a modal presentation so you can log in or register without leaving the page. Mobile friendly with a lot of the same attributes that we were talking about with autofill and that sort of thing. And a big one is improving the lost password workflow, just making it easier if you have an account and forgot your password to go through that process. Or you can skip the password altogether with request login link. This is available to you today. It's a magic link that's sent to the reader's email. They click the link in email and get right back to their content. So that one is available today. It's a little bit hidden though on our current login page. So that's going to be part of the overall UI overhaul on these login and register screens. Back to you, Christine.
That's great. Thank you. Yeah, we're very anticipating those changes for sure. Michael talked about some new revenue opportunities for our live stream service previously. And now Susan is going to show us some new live streaming enhancements for the Now app.
Yeah, thank you, Christine. So live streaming was a big topic this year, partly because it's such a highly viewed piece of content for people who do use live streaming. So an enhancement we made, you can see in the screenshot here, we developed a video player deployment on the home topic feed. that deploys from the alert banner. So currently in the app, you are able, whether you're a publisher or a broadcaster, to deploy the alert banner anytime you want to. It doesn't have to be a live stream. You can really just select any URL for that alert banner to go to. But if it is a live stream, you have an option in there to deploy this native video player here. That native video player will have pre-roll opportunities that coincide with that. So we're really excited to have that. We do have native video pre-roll in the app right now. Most people use video on article pages, and we're really trying to move to native presentations in the app and offer a different form of revenue for you. Another thing that's really cool about the video player is that it has the ability to detect live when live. Using some technology that we have from Phil 59, we're able to provide a schedule that coincides with the live stream itself. So when the live stream is live, then this video player can deploy, or your alert banner can deploy. And when it's not, then it's simply not there. This is a bit of a change from what we've been doing in the past. We've toggled between an active and an inactive messaging. So this will move us to a live when live, and the whole interface disappears when it's not. If you don't have a schedule attached to your live stream, that's fine. It just stays up all the time. So we're really excited about this feature. Is actually going to be ready in the next couple of weeks.
And then Susan, you want to talk about OTT changes?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is our biggest change we've had on OTT probably in the last couple of years. We have had some functionality in beta for the past year, and we are ready to offer that to our whole customer base. So I want to take just a couple of minutes and walk through what this means. So personalized content is really key for increasing engagement on our OTT platforms. Learning about user behavior is also key to be able to offer personalized content. So in order to do this, we needed a login/activation process so that we could capture who the user is and a little bit about their behavior. So the activation screen basically is just a code that pops up. I think everybody has probably run into activation screens as we all watch smart TV through Netflix, Hulu, ABC News, things of that nature. But it offers a code, and then it directs the user to a URL where they enter the code, and it unlocks premium features. It unlocks premium features, and it allows us to start collecting behavior analysis on the user. So the premium features that it unlocks, and they're listed here, one is resume watching. This is actually a cross-platform functionality. So you can actually start watching a video on your website, and you can finish it on OTT. If you have our full technology stack, you could actually start watching a video on our mobile applications and finish watching it on OTT. It's a really cool functionality. Same with recommended videos. Like I said, if you do have our full technology stack, when a user does activate their login, we track that user's behavior on the website, on your mobile apps, as well as on OTT. Once that user has enough audience data, then we can place them in audiences, and then we can recommend videos to them. These video recommendations are going to deploy in a row. You don't have to do anything for it. Automatically populates on the platform. So again, this cross-platform functionality is really cool and something I think that everybody is going to enjoy. Save across devices, same concept. Save on the website. A save list appears on the OTT platforms and on your mobile app as well. So all this cross-platform, we should have this. This is actually going to be pretty early in 2021 here. Within the next month, we'll be ready to offer this out.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's if you're using our CMS product, but not our OTT and Now App product, these are definitely reasons to make sure that you have the full suite of products for sure. Thank you, Susan. So next, Joe is going to be talking about some of our functionality for data insights.
All right, thank you, Christine. So data insights, in case any of you are unaware of what it is, data insights is a platform. It's our premium analytics platform that combines data from multiple data sources, from GA, from BLOX, from Google Ad Manager, and combines all that data together into a really easily digestible analytics platform that can really help you determine your audience and your editorial strategies for your digital properties. And now that Audience Plus is really stretching its legs, we're taking another dive back in and going to provide really rich analytics around subscription and Audience Plus. So we're going to be showing you things like your meter stop rates, paid conversion rates, logins by service, paywall stops overall, ad blocks, that kind of thing. Audience conversions from Audience Plus, we can know which audiences are converting the best. If we have that circulation revenue, we bring that data in as well. And really cool, we're also doing the last 5 articles that a user consumed in their path up to conversion, which will help you know like what types of content are driving engagement, whether it's by section or author or a specific, even a keyword or flag or something like that. So you can really kind of dig in. In addition to all these changes we're making for subscription, we're also adding some additional revenue streams in. We're adding our Ad Owl product and BLOX Ad Manager to provide that kind of last closure of all of our revenue streams, which include things like paid recommendations and programmatic revenue as well. And then one last thing, we're also adding some additional report dashboards that are focused around productivity, which will help your newsrooms just kind of understand how your overall productivity of your newsrooms. So, all right, Christine, back to you.
That's great, thank you. Yeah, and this stuff is really amazing. Obviously you can get analytics with Google Analytics or Parsley, whatever. You can't get this information. This information is only available through BLOX. So, if you haven't seen a demo of this yet, check it out. It's really cool technology. We really think that will help you learn about all of the facets of where you're getting revenue, what things are really working for you, and all of that. So it's really exciting. So next, I would like to talk about, this is something that we've been working on for a little while, and we've actually done some live testing, and we are looking to roll this out within the next couple of months. This is smart cropping using something called Google Vision API. This is where Google basically analyzes the image and looks at, facial detection, looks at area of interest, color, entropy, so forth. And they basically will try to figure out what is the important area of the photo. And then they give us what's called crop hints for how they suggest to crop this particular image in certain aspect ratios. So these are actual real tests that we've done with the system. And so just very quickly, you can see this is a vertical image, which is typically one of the difficult ones. If you're trying to automatically crop that into a horizontal image, you're going to cut off this guy's head, which is not a good thing. So you can see that using the crop hints, we have actually kind of a black box here that will be a horizontal aspect ratio recommendation for this photo. And then you can see there's a green box, which is a square recommendation for this photo, neither of which cut off his head, which is great. Additionally, there's another photo here, which is kind of interesting. You can see there's a guy here that's speaking at a podium, and in the background, he's got this painting that has like a lot of faces and a lot of stuff going on. They obviously have been able to detect that this is the main speaker up in the front, but they're kind of shifting the crop of the photo to include a lot of that background image, because they can tell that that is an important part of the photo as well. So this is really exciting. We are testing this out now. We're working on how it will be implemented in the CMS in the future, again, based on different types of aspect ratios. And hopefully we're going to be able to have this in up through the end of June. So exciting stuff. Next, we're going to talk a little bit about security and performance. And Susan's going to talk about Apple's IDFA, or identifier for advertisers, and the consent process. Susan?
Yes, thank you. If you do have our TownNews Now app, you've probably sent me a question about IDFA. So we thought this would be a good opportunity to talk a little bit about what it is. So IDFA is basically just the identifier for advertiser is a random device identifier assigned by Apple to the user's device. Advertisers use this to track data so they can deliver customized advertising. The IDFA is used for tracking and identifying a user without revealing personal information. It's like tracking an ID in a mobile phone instead of a browser cookie. So that's basically what it is. And I want to talk a little bit about how we're preparing for this. So we've integrated the necessary components for IDFA, so your apps will be compliant. The only difference that you're going to see in your apps is that when you download the apps, you'll be greeted with a consent that the users have to accept or deny tracking. We have a little language in there just about allowing for a better ad experience and allowing for personalized content. So if a user accepts, their ad experiences remain intact. If they deny this, their personalized ad experience might be impacted. So this is required to be in compliance with Apple guidelines when they roll out software version. Everybody keeps up with their software versions on their Apple phones, 14.5. We don't know exactly when 14.5 software version is rolling out for Apple, but rumor has it that there's a new iPad coming out in Apple. And so we're kind of guessing that is going to be the rollout date. So I've prepared some documentation to send out with our release notes for this, so that you can have it. It has a Q&A section on there for most frequently asked questions. So we hope that's helpful.
Thank you, Susan. I'll definitely have to get a new iPad in order to test everything out with this new stuff.
Yeah, exciting.
All right, so last but not least, I wanted to talk a little bit about a new project for single sign-on using SAML 2.0 technology in the BLOX admin. So we just started working on this right now, and we're hoping to have a beta test in Q2, but the whole project will be available later this year. So we're going to look at doing some testing within this quarter, but it'll be available fully later on. So we're trying to solve a couple of different problems here. First off, especially for large media organizations that have a lot of different BLOX sites, creating a new user account that has to go on all of the different sites can be very annoying. And so this will allow us to create, for you to create one account in your system, and then it will single sign on to all of the BLOX accounts where that person has access. Additionally, anytime a user leaves the organization, it is important to deactivate their admin account so that you don't have a bunch of unused admin accounts hanging around, which is a security issue. So SAML integration will allow you at your local site to create the user accounts inside of your IT system, such as your Active Directory system. And then through the integration, it can auto provision a user accounts at the point where they're logging in with specific authentication to your system, as well as specific permissioning to the user groups as they pertain to BLOX. So you can say, this person is an admin, they have access to editorial and ad manager, but not business directory. So that's all something that can be set up with data that you pass through the SAML 2.0 integration. In addition, because users' permissions might change over time, the system can update automatically to reflect a user's specific role every time that they sign in. So if you want to add new permissions or subtract permissions from a particular user, you can do that within your system as opposed to having to log into each BLOX site to do that. So to sum up, let me go to the last screen just really quickly here. Just very quickly before I pass it back to Erin. Obviously, these are things that we're targeting for Q2 calendar year. So basically through June. If you subscribe to our newsletters and release announcements, you're going to hear about these things as they come out. We'll do a lot of promotion of them, obviously. However, if there is something that really calls out to you, that your heart is touched as you're watching this demo and you want to find out more about it, contact our customer support team and they can kind of direct you to the appropriate product manager or appropriate person who can answer questions, or if it's something that you're really interested in, we can direct you to sales and help you as when that will get set up. So that's it. Erin.
Well, thank you. This looks like some really incredible stuff that's coming out in the near term here. So thanks for a peek at those roadmaps. We do have a few questions that have come in. A couple on the Now app. Does the app subscription allow us to make it subscriber only and not just follow the site's paywall or meter?
Yeah, so that's a great question. Thanks for asking. So it does follow the site's meter. And the addition that we put in there is that access control can help with that smart metering now. The app is just looking at what the web is doing. And then we're going to move into that in-app purchase workflow there. Access control will control the metering at that point in that in-app purchase, or there'll be a hard paywall in there that we put in for you for like 10 articles or whatever. Hopefully that answers your question.
And when someone purchases in the Apple Store, what subscriber info does the website get? Emails, for example, and is that subscription recognized on the website?
So it doesn't work in reverse. So if you sign up for a in-app purchase for the app, it doesn't give you access to the web, right? So all we're doing is we are honoring web subscriptions. As if a user logs in, then we're just aware of that. If they don't have a web subscription, they'll be offered the in-app purchase through Apple or Google. If they sign up there, it's in-app only. So it doesn't work in the reverse.
Okay. Christine, the story timelines are an excellent idea. How will Google display them when a user does a search?
So essentially they're going to look like, so the story timeline itself will be, it's essentially a collection page. And then each of the individual, can I go back to that front page here? Let's see. Okay, I'm not gonna try. The story itself is the child of that collection. So the story itself actually has a one of those snippets that says this is part of a story timeline. Click here to follow this particular timeline. So as stories show up on Google or on your front page or in your search or anywhere else, when the user clicks on those stories, it will promote the fact that this is part of a story timeline. It will link them off to the main story timeline, as well as allowing them to follow that specific thread on the story itself or on the story timeline. So there's many different ways that users will be able to passively find and discover this information and then sign up for things throughout so it's both on stories and on the story timeline itself.
Thank you. Another timeline question regarding the timeline asset type. Was that on the Red and Black's homepage? Do you know the headline off the top of your head by any chance?
It's on Athens. It's on Athens News, and they are. If you look at their site, and I would advise go to their site. It's great. On the right-hand side of their front page, you can see they've got a little logo, and it says Story Timelines, and they've got a couple of different, scandals and things that are happening that they're flagged as a story timeline currently, that they're kind of beta testing this process. So check it out. You can check out the timeline. You can go to the individual articles within the timeline and see the sign up process. Feel free to sign up and create an account, and you can see updates to those stories as they come out.
So that was athensnews.com.
athensnews.com.
Okay. Regarding the schemas, are there any plans to implement other schema types like recipes?
So I love this question. Thank you, Maureen. So schemas for recipes are a little bit different because they require additional metadata. So there's a couple of different levels of support for rich snippets in Google. And that's kind of one of the goals here, is to get, kind of the compelling rich display on Google search engines optimization for the different types of schema. For recipes, it requires that you have an itemized list of the recipe ingredients. So that type of thing, we would have to build specific UI around, and it wouldn't just be a single item that you could flag this as a recipe, because that wouldn't really do much. You also have to have specific recipe ingredient lists. That being said, we are looking at doing that. We've had a couple of customers request this. if this is something that you would be interested in, whether it's Maureen or anybody, if this is something that you're interested in, please feel free to submit a ticket and let us know, or email me directly, because if I would love to know if more people are going to use that, because it is something that we're going to have to do a little bit of work to support. And so if that's something that a lot of people are interested in, I would really love to know what you're using that for and what type of, investment and ROI you have, what's your business model around that. So it's something that we're interested in, and we'd like to hear more from you about that.
Okay. A Field 59 question. Do you presently have, or are you researching voice recognition technology to add captioning to Field 59 videos?
Hi, Steve. Thanks for the question on that. That's not the answer. The short answer is no, we do not have voice recognition technology for captioning videos. Our current offerings are through the Blackbird editor. Your over-the-air captions can be preserved and converted to web captions. That's what the FCC requires in terms of legally what your obligation is to do, is that the captions that you show on air have to match. If they had captions on air, they have to match online. That said, you may have other videos that don't have captions and were never a part of an on-air broadcast. For those, our current options are you can have embedded captions as a track in the video file itself. You can upload a sidecar caption. We also have a tool that can allow you to manually enter captions. All that said, I will take your feedback here and work that into a future roadmap to see what we can do in terms of a voice recognition offering in the future.
Thank you. Looks like we have one more question. Will the Active Directory single sign-on be able to be used for both BLOX and the BLOX Total CMS appliance?
That is a great question. So in the first phase, Total CMS is not supported for a couple of different reasons. The first reason is just because a lot of our appliances are not necessarily connected to the internet, in that they don't have kind of the same access because they're behind a firewall, or they might have different access. So that is problematic for that reason. And secondly, there are different DNS names that are associated with the Total CMS appliance, which makes that a difficult thing. That being said, we realize that that's something that people will be interested in doing. That makes it a lot easier for people that are using the Total CMS product heavily. So we're going to continue to look at that. But in the first phase, that is not addressed at this point. It's mostly for hosted environments.
Hey, thank you. It looks like that is it for the questions that have come in so far. If you'd like to advance the slide, Christine. Thanks to everyone for joining us. If you have any questions about anything we've discussed here on this roadmap presentation, as Christine said, please reach out to our customer support team or to your sales representative, and they can put you in touch with people who can provide you with more information. Documentation for all of our products is available at help.townnews.com. As always, you can reach support by dialing 800-293-9576 or visiting support.townnews.com. Our customer community is a great way to swap ideas with other TownNews clients. And you can monitor the status of all of our systems at townnews.status.io. As Christine mentioned, we will be keeping you all apprised of the changes to these solutions, the solutions that are coming out. Please sign up for our newsletters. Visit townnews.com, click the news link, and on that page you'll find a panel that will allow you to sign up for release notes, newsletters, etc. Please make sure to do that. And does anyone have any, Christine or others, do you have any final thoughts before we sign off on the March webinar here? Nope.
This is I don't know, Erin, this is a new kind of format for us. So please let us know what you think about looking at everyone's faces and so forth. I think I really liked it.
Yeah, I thought everyone did wonderfully. Thank you so much. And thanks again to everyone who attended, and we will talk to you again next month. Bye, everyone.